Yeah, a very big welcome to you, my dear Leo. The sun now is in Libra, giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign. And we're going to the right, to your full moon. And since you're the 8th major arcana and Libra is the 11th major arcana, I have to place you here and not here, right? And so you can see that you are looking into the past or into the intuition or into the new moon, where you always get sun and new moon in your sign, and understand that when you look at the card, it looks like you're going within, but then when you become the card, it really shows you that then you can bring that without into the external world. And so Libra is helping you to find an equilibrium, a balance between the black and white here, the wild and the sage personality of this beautiful young woman, right? This kind of innocence and the wildness, and here the black and white, or the balancing out of life. It's always, each card shows us how much we have to understand what duality or polarity is doing to us, and that we can liberate ourselves out of it. Now here I don't calculate the 11, which is a portal together. I leave that, right? I work very strongly with numbers because numbers are very precise, and the pictures, of course, they give me a feeling, and I include all of it. So here we have the 8th of November or the 11th of August. Which one of these two dates are speaking to you the strongest? We then see, of course, in your deck that Libra looks like this, right? Libra is here again, justice. But Aleister Crowley said, there is no justice in nature. There is only an equilibrium that we can achieve. In the Golden Dawn Tarot, which is for Libra, your card looks like this, right? And it's really interesting. It's, of course, more old, more modern, and nevertheless, the message behind it is what I'm looking for. Each of the 22 major arcanas has their own deck. And so Libra has the Golden Dawn, and you have the Good Tarot. I've listed them all below. So the sun, which is that extroverted energy, is in Libra, but the sun is leading you, is your dwarf star, right? And so understand that Libra is affecting you very clearly right now because the sun is in Libra, and the sun is always that personality in us. How do we radiate that out? How do we show to the people in the outer world what we are in the inner world? The inner world, that is the moon. The moon, now in your sign, is actually bringing you deep down into your subconscious. And so the moon here is the card that lets you know there are deeper energies and feelings that might just surface. And so have a look at that, right? Very important that you understand how I work. And this is today. Today we have sun and moon in your sign so that I get the information for you. No, I have moon in Leo, and through that I can feel you very strongly when this is happening. The yoga pose for Libra is Malasana. You're standing on your tiptoes and you find in your hips, which is the body part for Libra, the equilibrium. The hands in front of the heart create that you're holding yourself in the equal day and equal night perspective of the fall equinox, right? Very important. And of course you have here Simhasana, the lion pose, and the lion breath that is making you this personality. So that just now to the major arcanas. Your court card is the King of Fire, is your birthday between July 13 and August 12, then he is your court card. You see he has the heart right here, and that's your body part, that you have to always listen to your heart and see the sun's ray coming out of your head when you are in your center. You are the 5th zodiac sign, and as such connected to the 5th house of play and fun. And as Leo, you are an extrovert. You like to go out there and show this wild side of yours, right? And it's important that you really know how important it is to be sometimes this wild being. Back to the last reading where we had Virgo Sun giving Leo Moon the light. When the Strength card appears, you know it's time to live your prophecy. And apparently your own card came up, which is right here. And we had the Star Seed bringing you this beautiful light. And I look at if there is a reoccurring card coming. The Page of Waters and the Ace of Pentacles. And there is a card that is coming back, very interesting. And the 7 of Air, no, the 9 of Swords. We had Virgo last time, and so the Virgo deck is Salvador Dali. And this time we have Libra's cards, right? And so I need to look very closely if I'm not missing out on a card that wants to come back a second time and talk to you, because that's what I like to include then into the reading. I think that's it. So you have one, and it's a good one, it's an important one, and so we're gonna look at it. So back then we had 5 stations, right? Now I'm gonna do only 3 stations. I shortened it a little bit. So we're gonna look at the King of Fire, we're gonna look at the Strength card, and we are gonna look at the Sun. These are the 3 cards that are important for you, right? Because this is your home, this is your soul talking, this is your court card, this is your physical body, the King of Fire. Now, if the date is before or after, you might want to look into the reading before, because that's the court card that's then working for you, or into the reading that's after. That's where you can look down in the description. I have listed all the court cards. And of course the sun is giving you the light, right? It's your kind of planet, but the sun is a dwarf star. And so we're going to look into these 3 stations. And of course I begin with the King of Fire, and the King of Fire is getting the 7 of Wands, which is Mars in Leo. And Mars is of course the planet of war, the planet of courage. And here you are like a unicorn up at the mountain and seeing that you are looking into the past. It's almost like you remember now the courage that you had to step up. And the 5th zodiac sign and the 7 calculated together, we get the 12, and the 12 is the Hanged Man. So let go of what courage you have brought into the world to stand up here at the mountain. But remember the courage that you brought into this world for you to be a unicorn, for you to be standing up there. And then out of the 12 we get the 3. And the 3 is the Empress, is Venus, right? And so observe, the 12 is Neptune, is the Hanged Man. And so there is a message in there, right? The 12 and then the 3. Then I wanted to see what is the Mother Peace Tarot bringing, and it's the Lovers to the left. And the Lovers to the left is literally saying, yeah, you had the courage to love yourself, because the Lovers is a relationship, but it's actually the relationship with yourself. So watch that, observe that, and see that it's important. So the 7 and the 6 is actually then a 13, a transformation that is coming here. And the 13 and the 5 is the 18 in your subconscious, right? The moon in your sign right now, the subconscious is bringing you the feelings that make you realize that you have come a long way, right? Because the 18, again, the moon, is letting you know you have worked at yourself. And so the 9 is left, which is the completion. And you see that the 9 is the hermit, right? Is that I know deep within me who I am. I am the king of fire. I have the heart on the right spot. I have the courage. I have the love that I worked for, that I had the courage to look for, and now you have it here. And of course I want to see what is here this major arcana saying. This is of course a very abstract way of describing the lovers, but I love this deck because they're round and so you cannot manipulate. And so if they point to the left, it's saying that for some reason the love that you have for yourself is kind of not yet there, right? Yes, it is there, but it's kind of saying to the left, right? It's saying the lovers are holding back for fear of rejection. They are not trusting their hearts. Perhaps they are not sure of their choices. And so if you are in a relationship, you're not sure of your choice, and if it's with yourself, you also need to look, what is it that you understand here in the 18, right? Here we had the 13, the transformation, and now the 18 all together, right? And then the 9. But I want to see what is this major arcana saying to you, because I look at the deck that I have for the lovers, and that's the Light Seer Tarot, and you get the Ace of Wands, which is saying you need to add another ace to the 7, and then you have the 8. And the 8, that is you. You are the 8, you are the infinite. You can now bring yourself to a level of understanding that this one action is the only action you need to look after, right? So the 7 and the 1 is 8 wands, and just observe that and watch that. And so the 8 and the 6 is the 14, the 14 and the 5 is the 19. You have the sun. When you look at all of this, you've done the work, you found your passion, you found what you need to be doing, you find that you have worked with courage to be in love with yourself, and now you reap the energy. The sun is coming, which is your dwarf star, right? And then the 10 is left out of all of it, and the 10 is a new cycle that you now really can be proud of to start, right? And so this is the message through Libra, because Libra is the one that gives you the light right now for this. Then we look at the Strength card, and here we have the Star coming, and that's your opposite sign. Here you get the light for the full moon from, and so the 17 turns into an 8. We have an 8-8 portal, and you see that this is a very important moment for you to understand that you give passion to the star. The star can be quite cold, right? The star is a huge energy in the sky, and you bringing the liveliness and the passion to it. And so the 8-8 portal very clearly is talking right here to you. Then I wanted to see, of course, what is the star saying to you, because it's a major arcana, and the deck of the star is the mystical tarot, and you get the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is that moment where you recognize, okay, Why am I not able to shine like a star? So you have the 17, right, which is then an 8, the 8 and the 9, again the 17. So Aquarius is inviting you to really come into a place of knowing that this is with the constellation Mars in Gemini connected, right? And so Mars in Gemini, it's kind of like saying, well, you had Mars in Leo, but now you have Mars in Gemini in this communication to the outer world. And that's what the skin is. The skin is that shield to the outer world. Why are you feeling like you don't like to be looked at? And so the 17 is coming up and the 8 is left here. So see that no matter what's happening here, you are here, you are important, you are always the 8. And so the 8 and the 9 all together, then the 8 is left, right? So see that and understand that. But then what is actually Libra saying? Because you get the light from Libra, and Libra is saying the 5 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands is Saturn in Leo. Now you have actually here Mars in Leo, Saturn in Leo, right? And you have the Ace of Wands. So you have 7 wands and 5 wands is 12 wands. It's the Hangman. And then you get another wand, which is 13 wands. That's the transformation of Scorpio, death. A death of maybe this physical body, that every 7 years we get a completely new body. Or you take the 9, right? Some people take every 9 years, you are a completely new personality. And so I think you are learning something here quite profound, right? Because Saturn here is really teaching you something. Saturn is the world, and Saturn is saying, okay, what is it really deep down that you desire, right? And so the 8 and the 5 is the 13 again, the transformation. You do not need to compare yourself to no one, right? Mars in Gemini, do not compare. Don't, right? Really allow now to see that you're going through transformation. You can show yourself. You can shine again, right? And so here, of course, we have the 8 and the 5, the 13, that's the 4, and of course the 8 is the 12 again, the Hangman, the transformation, and the 3 is left. But also we had the 9, right? But the 9 always gives itself up, so I don't need to count that. And just that you understand how I function with the numbers. So the 8, and the 5, right? I leave that because the 88 is a portal, and the 5, remember, that's you as the zodiac sign, the 5th zodiac sign. Then I wanted to see what is coming from the Mother Piece Tarot, the Shaman of Wands. To the left is coming, and that's the card that is reoccurring from the last reading. And back then you had the card to the left, and you still have it slightly to the left, showing to the star, showing itself to Aquarius. And so this is you, the 5th zodiac sign, right? The King of Wands, the Shaman of Wands. And so now you have a 5-5 portal and an 8-8 portal. In that, you understanding now that you learning more and more to just accept everything just the way it is, and that you accept that you need to shed, right? You need to let go, and that you are in a state of completion deep in your mind, because it's the swords. And so let go of like feeling uncomfortable in your physical body. And you have the help. You have your own court card coming up and giving you the strength to unite with an Aquarius, right? A 5-5 and an 8-8 portal. But I also like to see what is here the shaman wanting to tell you. And it's the Page of Waters that is coming. And the Page of Waters are all three water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And you see this young generation, these are the young children. So maybe you know a Cancer or a Scorpio or a Pisces as a child. And it's almost saying, remember, you were also this child. You were flowing, you were innocent. And then something happened, right? Everybody has a story. But you are learning through this story that you can heal and that you can help the young generation to see that. And so the 5-5 stays, right? And the 8-8 stays. And then you have here the 3. But now the 3, I can calculate that together with the 9, where Aquarius spoke, right, about the 9 of Swords. The 9 and the 3 is the 12. And that's the Hangman again. And the 3 is left, the Empress. Remember, you were always an Empress. You were always a child of God or of higher consciousness. And here you are now seeing that she's letting go of this and she becomes this young child. And she's healing and she's cleansing. And the 3 is left. And that's the Empress. The Empress is Venus, is love. And so see that message coming here very clearly to you. And then we look at the Sun, and the Sun is bringing you here the inner core, the solid energy that is opening up, and this dove, white dove, is flying out of your core, and it's the number 18. And the 18 is the Moon, right? The Moon that is in your sign right now. The 18, the subconscious, right? Your feelings. And so here we get a 9, and here we get a 10, and that's the 19, the Sun again, and the 10 is left. So the 9, right? And also this 9. So liberate yourself. You see that this is really clearly talking about this. You want to liberate yourself. You want to free yourself out of something that has happened and maybe still is reoccurring in your dreams, right? So the 10 is left here, right? And you see that the Sun is saying, yes, free yourself, because the Sun is in justice. The Sun is in the equilibrium. So find that equilibrium. However, you do that, right, through breathing, through any sorts of liberating practices that you can create. Then I want to see what is your deck saying to it. It's the 6 of Swords. Now the 9 of Swords, right? And of course the 6 of Swords, that's 15 swords. That's Capricorn. That's the devil. That's the attachment sometimes we have to things that are not good. But here comes the ship that sails over the ocean and brings you the information to liberate yourself completely, right? And remember the 9-9 here, right? The 9 and the 6, the 15. The 6 is left. And guess what? You had the 6. So you have a 6-6 here now. And self-love is on the horizon when we understand more and more how we can liberate ourselves. And here comes the teaching. And the teaching is always letting you know that here you ready with the 10 and the 9, the 19, the 10 is left, the 10 and the 6 is the 16, and that's Mars. That's the Tower. That's things need to go. And this is connected with the constellation Mercury in Aquarius. And Aquarius has come. And Aquarius is your opposite sign. You need to really learn. Mercury is the magician, is giving you the information, bringing you how you can liberate and free yourself completely, right? And so the 10 and the 9 is the 19, the 10 is left, the 10 and the 6 is the 16, the 7 is here, the 7 portal with the 7 of Wands here. And the 7 is the emotional intelligence that we gain here in our crown chakra. And so the 7 is talking, right? Then I wanted to see what is the Mother Peace Tarot bringing, and you get another 3 of Swords to the right. And the Three of Swords to the right is pointing to learning, understanding. So you have 9 swords, and 9 swords, that's 18 swords. 18, find the liberation in the 18. Find that the 18, the moon, is now in your sign, and learn to liberate. Learn that you are free to break free, right? Not free, break free from all these constraints. And yes, it's pointing down, the Three of Swords, because the Three of Swords is always that moment where we learn that Saturn in Libra is talking. You had here the Saturn in Leo and Saturn in Libra, and Libra is now giving you the light. And Saturn in Leo, that's you fighting, that's you understanding that you had here 12 wands. That's then of course the Hanged Man, but you also had the 1 wand, and so you have 13 wands, which is saying liberation, absolute liberation of whatever you want to liberate yourself from, because the 13 is really like a death, a real death, right? Sometimes when there's a lot of negative cards around, but I think with you it's like a liberation. It's like, I do not want this anymore. And so you see here that Saturn in Libra is bringing you an equilibrium, an understanding that the 10 and the 9 is the 19, the 10 and the 6 is of course the 16 and the 3 is the 19. You coming up, the sun is coming up and saying, see through Libra that you are learning, see through all of it. And then the 10 is left. Out of the 19 we create the 10. A new cycle is wanting to come to you, and this new cycle is talking and saying, yes, you are liberating and freeing yourself, and you have the Lovers, that real love that you are learning more and more to accept. And then so things like the Three of Swords, these 3 women fighting and being a little bit off with each other, right? It's because now you're learning more and more that that's not something you want in your life anymore, and you want to be free. You want to be like the sun, right, shining up in the sky, and really liberate yourself from whatever it is that you now want to liberate yourself from. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we got the sun in Scorpio, and Scorpio came up with the 13, right? The 13 was constantly letting you know that the liberation is here. The 13, that the transformation is here, right? You had here 8 wands and you 5. That's the 13. That's the liberation. That's the transformation, and that's where Scorpio is going to come in, Sun in Scorpio, the next reading, right? So until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.